Negative thought processes can cloud our minds with fear, anxiety, and depression. It limits and prolongs the TSW skin healing progress and can discourage us from getting our daily tasks done, which may in turn impact self-confidence and outlook in life.
In this video, I'll share the 6th thing I did and kept doing, which led to huge improvements in my TSW skin recovery. This 6th thing reprogrammed my thought processes to overcome negative thoughts, which resulted in increasing mental clarity, kept TSW symptoms at bay, and enabled me to get things done during my bedridden days of TSW. All of which rebuilt my self-confidence and helped me move on with life. If you haven't watched the earlier parts of this series, especially part 1, definitely watch them first, as what I'm about to share was a lot easier after incorporating the first 5 things into my life.
Let's go!
Come, follow me on my journey towards a happier, healthier, and freer life. Subscribe to be notified on upcoming videos. Some of you may know I launched a collection of cold weather scarves, especially designed to comfort those with sensitive skin. So if you find scarves scratchy, check out freendcat.com. 6. Confronting negative thoughts.
TSW is a skin condition which tends to be chronic, meaning its symptoms may persist over a long time. It could be months or years. No one can tell you how long because its length of time is dependent on many factors. Everyone is different.
Apart from having to deal with the unknown of how long I was going to be suffering with TSW, its symptoms were painful, debilitating, and disfiguring. So naturally, I started feeling discouraged and frustrated. During that period, there was a tendency for me to make groundless judgments about myself, my situation, or my future. This was something I did sometimes consciously, sometimes subconsciously. Groundless judgments are untrue statements not backed by evidence. For example, thinking or saying things along the lines of, I will never heal, I can't do anything, my life is ruined.
During the earlier part of my TSW journey, I fed myself with condemning thoughts like these many times a day. In times of frustration and agony, I would even say them out loud. These thoughts easily spiral into catastrophizing worst-case scenarios.
Such judgmental thoughts were usually triggered by the sight of my TSW skin, moments of extreme skin pain or itch, comparing my ability or speed of doing things to my pre-TSW self, worrying about the future. I was miserable and had no peace. These thoughts clouded my mind and intensified the stinging pain that I was experiencing, which in turn made it more painful to complete simple daily chores.
Then one day, I realized that I don't want to keep on living this way. So I decided to put a stop to these unhealthy thought patterns. But it wasn't as easy as saying, I'm not going to have these thoughts, because these thoughts will come when they come.
So it wasn't about preventing myself from having negative thoughts, nor was it about suppressing those thoughts when they come. But rather, I focused on what I was going to do when those judgmental thoughts arise and retrained my thought processes. Here's what I did. I started to pay attention to my thoughts and speech. I would catch myself every time I was making a groundless judgment about my situation or my future. Then, I would challenge those thoughts and correct myself by expressing my emotions accurately. I'm going to share 2 situations I experienced during TSW to show you how. When my skin was at its worst, I was feeling sad and started dwelling in my mind that I will never heal. I noticed it and challenged the thought. That's not true. Where's the evidence that I will never heal? I don't know the future. The future is unknown. Why am I thinking this way? So I would think, yeah, why am I thinking this way? Then I found myself responding to my thoughts. It has been a long time. I've tried many things, but there's not only no sign of improvement, but my skin is worsening. Well, is that good enough evidence to justify that my skin will never heal from TSW? No, because the future is unknown. Anything bad can happen. Anything good can also happen. So that's a groundless judgment.
Do you see it? I will never heal was not an accurate expression of my emotions. More importantly, it was not true and there was no evidence to support it. Not helpful for healing.
Because having groundless judgments like these are like planting seeds of lies in our minds that could lead to feeling depressed or hopeless. And I don't want to feel depressed or hopeless because of something that is not true. So when I came to that realization, I made an effort to correct myself by expressing my emotions accurately. In this case, I found it helpful to say it out loud because I needed to remind myself that "I will never heal" is not a true statement, as when I thought about it, what I really meant was, "It's been a long time. I've tried many things, but my skin keeps worsening." The next time I had such thoughts, I would confront them and re-express my emotions accurately.
And I kept doing that again and again whenever those thoughts arise. And after a few months, I noticed that the frequency of negative thoughts have reduced. And over a longer period of time, gradually, I don't get those thoughts anymore. Why? Because my thought patterns, thought processes have been rewired and retrained not to think that way. In times of sudden change, or when we find ourselves in unfamiliar situations such as TSW, our minds can move so fast that it skips steps, jump into conclusions, and unnecessarily lead us into a dark place. Confronting negative thoughts helped me to slow down my thought processes and allowed me to regain control of my thoughts.
For clarity, I still experienced fear and uncertainty, but I'm able to not let the judgmental thoughts control how it can affect my day. Here's another example using the same process.
Washing vegetables for my daily smoothie was one of my dreaded tasks during TSW because my wrists were covered with TSW, open, prickly, broken skin.
The prolonged exposure to water on my wrist would make it extremely painful to do that chore. I was filled with fear of more stinging pain and would procrastinate.
I needed hours to mentally prepare myself to do that task. And when I finally start to wash the vegetables, I would clench my teeth and try to brave through the pain.
I would be in so much agony that I would start having thoughts like, "I can't do anything," which would quickly spiral into a whole trail of negative thoughts that would ruin and rule over my day.
The day I caught myself thinking that way, I confronted and challenged it. I thought to myself, there may be many things too painful to do at this moment, but I can't do anything. It's simply not true.
I can rest, I can think, I can plan, I change my bed sheets daily, I keep my space clean. I can think of a different way of doing a particular task by figuring out how to minimize the pain. I can do something at my own pace. There are many things I can do. Why did I say that?
The first time I confronted those thoughts, it was enlightening. I remembered thinking to myself, I'm right, I can do many things. Why did I think that way?
I realized that I kept saying I can't do anything because I was feeling discouraged in those moments, because I was in so much physical pain and I was feeling frustrated as something which used to be a no-brainer started taking so much time and effort. Upon realizing my underlying emotions, I responded in my mind by correcting myself. I will take that groundless judgment back because it's not true. And I'm right. I can think of a different way of doing this task by figuring out how to minimize the pain. And I can also go at my own pace. For this particular issue, I started to wear gloves when washing vegetables. I started to wash, cut, and freeze vegetables so I only needed to wash them once a week. And that made a whole load of difference in the pain management, my well-being, and overall happiness. And out of this, I became very efficient in preparing my daily smoothies to this day. After getting into a habit of confronting negative thoughts in the later part of my TSW journey, I streamlined a lot of my daily processes because it was so painful to do anything. I had to figure out a different way to get the same stuff done. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't make the daily effort to challenge the negative thoughts and retrain the way I think. Confronting negative thoughts when they come prevented me from spiraling into anxiety or depression. It cleared up space in my mind to think, to discern, to problem solve, and make well thought through decisions to address whatever worries or concerns I had at that time.
With peace and mental clarity, you'll be surprised with how much you can do without and what you can come up with. So if you're suffering in TSW pain right now, it is painful, but here's a gentle reminder. You can still think. Protect your mind. Try what I shared. It will take time, continuous effort, and daily practice, but it will help a lot skin-wise and well-being. It may feel unnatural at first, but keep trying, keep practicing. What you're doing is you're slowly rewiring the way your mind thinks, and it's freeing. So I hope this helped. 2 more things I did and kept doing which led to huge improvements in my skin recovery. Today, I've been free of TSW symptoms for 2 years. So subscribe and stay tuned for part 5.